Experts on romance say for a happy marriage there has to be more than a passionate love. For a lasting union, they insist, there must be a genuine liking for each other, which, in my book, is a good definition for friendship. The bonds of matrimony are like any other bonds, they mature slowly. I've been in love with the same woman for 41 years. If my wife finds out, she'll kill me. The concept of two people living together for 25 years without a serious dispute suggests a lack of spirit only to be admired in sheep. More marriages might survive if the partners realize that sometimes the better comes after the worse. Each year on the anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth, America has the opportunity to reflect on our nation's progress towards the realization of his dream. Marriage is an act of will that signifies and involves a mutual gift, which unites the spouses and binds them to their eventual souls, with whom they make up a soul family, a domestic church. In 1966, I bought my parents a carriage clock for their silver wedding anniversary. It was last wound 30 years later, in December 1996, the month my father died. You will reciprocally promise love, loyalty and matrimonial honesty. We only want for you this day that these words constitute the principle of your entire life and that with the help of divine grace you will observe these solemn vows that today, before God, you formulate. Love grows more tremendously full, swift, poignant, as the years multiply. So I think you have to marry for the right reasons, and marry the right person. I loved the domesticity of my life as a struggling actor. When I wasn't going to auditions, I could do things like cook dishes from scratch and take them to parties or be really thoughtful about birthdays and anniversaries. I think long-lasting, healthy relationships are more important than the idea of marriage. At the root of every successful marriage is a strong partnership. I dated a lot, but I never really had anyone who was worthy of an anniversary, and most girlfriends never made it to a year, anyway. Under this window in stormy weather I marry this man and woman together, let none but him who rules the thunder put this man and woman asunder. One should believe in marriage as in the immortality of the soul. It was less in pity than in anger that the world was moved by the photograph of little Alan Kurdi, that dead 3-year-old Syrian refugee boy whose name we're all remembering now on the first anniversary of his drowning, along with his 5-year-old brother Gallup and their mother Rihanna. Easter is a movable event, calculated by the relative positions of sun and moon, an impossible way of fixing year by year the anniversary of a historical event, but a very natural and indeed inevitable way of calculating a solar festival. These changing dates do not point to the history of a man, but to the hero of a solar myth. Why does a woman work 10 years to change a man's habits and then complain that he's not the man she married? I think you have to be willing to take a bullet for somebody if you're going to stand up there, take your vows, and be married to them for the rest of your life. Some people ask the secret of our long marriage. We take time to go to a restaurant 2 times a week, a little candlelight, dinner, soft music and dancing. She goes Tuesdays, I go Fridays. Chains do not hold a marriage together. It is threads, hundreds of tiny threads, which sew people together through the years. Never tell a secret to a bride or a groom, wait until they have been married longer. A lot of good love can happen in 10 years. I love my wife, she deserves anything and everything. We want to take the energy surrounding the Sandy Hook anniversary that might otherwise be consumed by grief or anger, or this week in San Bernardino by fear, and channel some of that to honor our common humanity, and love each other. That there's no more important decision in life than who you marry. May you live as long as you wish and love as long as you live. Love is not weakness. It is strong, only the sacrament of marriage can contain it. You were made perfectly to be loved, and surely I have loved you, in the idea of you, my whole life long. Next month, I will celebrate my 30th anniversary of marriage with my beautiful bride, Vicky. Our marriage has been a blessing. I have gained even more respect for the institution over the past 3 decades and will defend it against attack. You marry somebody, you love everything about them. You grow to learn about them. You never learn everything. This year, as we celebrate the 230th anniversary of America's independence, please remember the symbols that are sacred to this country. Fly Old Glory high and show your respect and admiration for this great nation and the values we hold dear. Strike an average between what a woman thinks of her husband a month before she marries him and what she thinks of him a year afterward, and you will have the truth about him. The only big things I've purchased are my dad's heart valve and a Rolls-Royce for my parents, for their anniversary. And that was only because my dad had a Lady Gaga license plate on our old car and it was making me crazy because he was getting followed everywhere, so I bought him a new car. My mother and stepfather were married 43 years, so I have watched a long marriage. I feel like I had a very good role model for that. And, you know, it's just a number. A wedding anniversary is the celebration of love, trust, partnership, tolerance and tenacity. The order varies for any given year. Marriage is a coming together for better or for worse, hopefully enduring, and intimate to the degree of being sacred. I've been sober for 2.5 years, my children are happy. In August, my wife and I will celebrate our 15th wedding anniversary. My band is back together with a sold-out tour. The day before the anniversary of D-Day, we lost a man who was equaled by few and surpassed by none as a leader in the cause of freedom, Ronald Reagan. Marriage is the most natural state of man, and the state in which you will find solid happiness. I love being my husband's wife. Marriage is an alliance entered into by a man who can't sleep with the window shut, and a woman who can't sleep with the window open. Life is all about balance, and there are certain times of the year, birthday, anniversary, holidays, that are meant to be enjoyed without guilt. That being said, Thanksgiving is a meal, it's not a Thanksgiving Day, and it's not a Thanksgiving week. We invest less in our friendships and expect more of friends than any other relationship. We spend days working out where to book for a romantic dinner, weeks wondering how to celebrate a partner or parent's birthday, and seconds forgetting a friend's important anniversary. Mom and Dad were married 64 years, and if you wondered what their secret was, you could have asked the local florist, because every day Dad gave Mom a rose, which he put on her bedside table. That's how she found out what happened on the day my father died. She went looking for him because that morning, there was no rose. In terms of my marriage, you know, falling in love with my husband was by far the best thing that's ever happened to me. I think we take it for granted that if you are with your husband after 30 years, then he is the love of your life. Married people from my generation are like an endangered species. After about 20 years of marriage, I'm finally starting to scratch the surface of what women want, and I think the answer lies somewhere between conversation and chocolate. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.